Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're doing a recap of Married at First Sight season 13 episode 7, and it was a couple of doozies in this episode. We're definitely going to unpack it, but before we do, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications so you'll be notified every time I post. And also feel free to drop a comment and drop a like if you enjoyed this video. So without further ado, let's talk about this. So Married at First Sight is finally at the point where things are starting to get real. Now, I knew it wouldn't be long before people's true personalities is going to show up. But I don't think I was expecting so many surprises on the first night living together. Now, if this episode isn't any indication about the rest of the season, then there is so much more drama to come. Now, the couples return back to Houston to start their newlywed lives, but it is definitely a rough transition for some of them. The spouses are challenged by everyday life as they must decide whether to fight for their marriage or take off and run. Now, some may be willing to stick through things and stick it out, but it may only be a matter of time before things start to come to a head. So let's go ahead and get straight into the drama. So first up is Johnny and Bao. Now, it's their first night in their new apartment and they are already having some issues. Now, when Bao decides she is not willing to honor her husband's request of showering before bed, he now wants space. He seems to be fed up with her negativity as well. Now, although I don't agree with him leaving at the first sign of trouble, I can understand a little bit of his frustration. Now, me, myself, I tend to be a generally happy person who focus on finding solutions rather than the problem. So it would be hard, for me, myself, to be married to a person who was the complete opposite. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Bao can be charming and fun with the group, but she tends to focus on problems with her husband. Now, after spending the night by himself, Johnny returns to the apartment with Bao. During dinner, he explains that he was feeling quite overwhelmed, but feels like he needs to make some compromise. And you know what? I'm impressed that despite a difficult night, Bao tries to be understanding and gives him time to figure things out. Now, Bao gives Johnny the grand tour of their house, which was really cute, really nice, cozy. Johnny's home is nice, but it's definitely a bachelor pad, you can tell. And it's obvious that they're both, extremely, very particular about different things. Now, later in the episode, Pastor Cal comes to, do a visit. Johnny drops a bomb when he's asked why he doesn't initiate intimacy with Bao. What he says is that he reveals that many times Bao expresses joy and make advances toward him in a childlike manner, which definitely is a turnoff to him. Now, Pastor Cal does challenge him and remind him that despite those things, she's definitely an adult. But, oh my God, that scene was rough. And I can definitely see how Bao would be offended, but I can also see how that would turn a person off too. Now, I've been rooting for them from the start, but I don't know if this is going to work. I mean, this relationship is going to require a lot of work with the two of them than maybe I originally thought, because they really hit it off. But I would prefer in my situation, if that was me, I need him to tell me the truth. He doesn't have to sugarcoat it. If he feels that, every time I try to come for you, you act like a child or you giggle or whatever she described. I mean, it might be painful, but I need to hear the truth. Sometimes the truth can be painful in order for you to, see what's going on. So I can respect that. Let's talk about Michaela and Zach. So Zach has finally gotten clearance to be released from his hotel room after having the virus. He is now on his way back to Houston to be reunited with his wife, Michaela. Now, when he get there, he does surprise her at her apartment, and she is excited. Now, things are going well until she wake up one morning to realize Zach isn't home and isn't responding to her calls. Now, she becomes so upset that she storms out of the apartment with all of her stuff, and wow, that went left real quick. Now, when Michaela does return home, she is still mad at Zach. And, the fact that he left without communicating anything to her. So apparently he never came to bed with her the night before. And when he wasn't there the next morning, she feels like he was avoiding her. Now, what Zach's explanation was of what happened, it was pretty interesting. But what he said still didn't even make Michaela feel any better. Now, he was shocked by the way that she handled the first conflict, especially since they had already discussed how they argue. Michaela did the exact thing that she said that she would never do, which is leave. Now, I don't believe Zach, in my opinion, was up to anything crazy or anything. He just made a mistake. But I do think they do need to learn how to communicate and set whatever expectations. Now, Pastor Cal does stop by. He literally walked in after they had just had that argument. Now, Michaela is on the defense and she becomes emotional. She's having a hard time kind of putting her faith in the Zach after feeling abandoned by her dad's death. And, I'm glad that the conversation actually took place while Pastor Cal was actually there, because he was able to kind of lead them through a miscommunication and help them work through their feelings. And now it seems like, from what I see, he seemed to be a pretty good guy, but she's going to have to learn to trust him. But there was some things that came out after that, because Zach jumped in the comment section on Instagram, and this is what he had to say. So he said she knew where he was going. This was clearly communicated the night before, and she got a text the morning of. Watch Unfiltered if you want to know how this got cleared up. But, you can pause this and read the rest of it, but, that's crazy. That's why I have to wonder sometimes with production, what we see versus what actually happened. And that's why I tell a lot of folks on social media, I like to see these folks and learn what truly happened outside of the show. And he was quick to defend himself and drop that in the comments about what happened. So we definitely would have to continue to see what's going to be the going-ons of this, because I think Hurricane Michaela is supposed to come through again later in the season. I hope not, because they were definitely high on my list for this season, but it ain't looking too good. So we'll definitely have to see what happened with these two. So let's talk about Brett and Ryan. So Brett gives Ryan the grand tour of her current apartment, and things go really well. Now, he has already fallen in love with her dog and likes that her place is full of personality and a lot of color. When Brett visits Ryan's home, I didn't know what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know what I was expecting, but it seems like he had a really nice home. Now, like Brett, I'm not a fan of the deer head on the bedroom wall. I don't think too many people were. So Pastor Cal also come and visit them. Brett and Ryan both have great things to say about one another. She is genuinely surprised to hear all of the nice things that her husband says about her. She even says this is her first time hearing it. Now, they both are at the point of liking each other, but things haven't progressed to a more intimate level yet. So, I don't know about these two yet. I'm still trying to gauge where they're going to go, but despite them getting along well so far, I don't see any fireworks or anything happening really exciting with them. So, I don't know. We'll have to see as they go along. So, next up is Rachel and Jose. Rachel finally gets a chance to see Mr. High Expectations, aka Jose's house. Now, his house is nice, but it can definitely use a woman's touch. Rachel kind of freaks out when she sees his whiteboard in his office with his budget on full display. Now, Jose hopes to have his wife on a similar budget very soon. When he, of course, visits Rachel home, he can't help but to start out judging everything he sees in her house. Boy, I mean, I guess there's someone for everybody, but I don't think I could deal with somebody that would just judge everything. Now, Pastor Cal comes over to check in with Jose and Rachel. They're both very happy until they begin talking about finances and budgeting. Pastor Cal encourages them to learn to compromise. They both have strengths that will enhance each other's lives if they allow it. Now, Rachel may have to kiss her little annual vacations goodbye, but I don't see Jose giving up on his master plan of total financial freedom anytime soon. These two actually could work it out. I just think that they're standing in their own way and they're being a little bit too uptight when it comes to each other, because the chemistry and the connection is there, but when it comes to outside with dealing with finances and money and stuff like that, I think if they kind of tweak it a little bit and kind of ease up a little bit, they could actually make this thing work. I'm putting out hope for these two, but we'll have to see. But let me know your thoughts on these two. And last but not least, Mirla and Gil. So Mirla's decor focuses on her favorite person, herself. Now, she has numerous pictures of herself featured on her walls. Clearly, you can tell most of her money goes into her clothing and her shoes. Now, I mean, I was expecting more of something big when it came to her home, but Mirla doesn't hold back her contempt for Gil's dog either when she walks into his apartment. Now, she clearly isn't a dog person, but she could have been a little less disgusted by the dog. I don't know how this is going to work with these two. Now, Pastor Cal visits both Mirla and Gil to see how they feel about their marriage at this point. Almost immediately, her extravagant spending habits was something to come up. Now, she doesn't seem to want to change from a single mindset to a married one. And when the topic of intimacy is brought up, you can't cut the tension with a knife. Now, to this date, Mirla and Gil hasn't even shared a kiss. Gil claims they always are holding hands and touching, but he hasn't gotten past his wife's cheek, and that's the one on her face. Now, honestly, I find it hard to believe that they are affectionate with one another. Gil admits if he don't get a kiss by decision day, he's definitely going to be asking for a divorce, because her statement was she might just wait till then just to even kiss this man. You talking 8 weeks and you in a marriage. I don't understand that. I'm wondering why she even did this. It just does not make sense. I mean, I don't know. These two, I mean, it seems like Gil he seemed like a good guy. He does a lot of talking. And then Mirla, I mean, she can want what she wants, but she's in a marriage now. I mean, and intimacy and being able to kind of blend lives is extremely important. So I don't know how she figured being in the single mindset is going to work. So let me know what you think about this couple. And then also tell us, do you think Johnny was too harsh on Bao? Did Michaela, was her reaction an overreaction? And do you actually think Gil would ever get a kiss from Mirla? So we'll definitely see what happened with all 5 of these couples in the upcoming episodes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you next time for the drama.